In this video, we're going to look at how resources move through ecosystems. So as a review, the main elements that go into all living things are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus. So when we're making carbohydrates and lipids, those are made primarily with carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Proteins also need nitrogen, and then nucleic acids also need phosphorus. So matter is cycled on Earth because we have what we have. There's not really new matter being added to the Earth, and so matter has to be conserved so it gets recycled. So the carbon cycle is how carbon is recycled through the ecosystems, and it starts by plants taking it in as carbon dioxide from the air using photosynthesis. They convert it to glucose, and then it can be passed along to other organisms where they can break it down to make ATP in cellular respiration and release that carbon dioxide back into the air. So when we look here, we have carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Photosynthesis takes it out of the atmosphere and puts it into organisms, where then other organisms can eat the plants and incorporate it into their cells, and respiration that puts that carbon dioxide back in the air. Decomposers break down the bodies of dead organisms and can put that carbon into the soil. Now there's other things that impact the carbon cycle, specifically humans, because we have been burning lots of fossil fuels, and those fossil fuels release a lot of carbon dioxide. We have also caused a lot of deforestation, so that prevents photosynthesis, so it reduces the amount that's being pulled out by plants. And all of this can result in global warming because carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. So here we show burning of fossil fuels increases carbon dioxide in the air. Deforestation reduces the amount that's being pulled out by plants through photosynthesis. There are also natural processes like volcanoes that release a lot of carbon dioxide, and then the oceans and plants, as well as some rocks, can actually store a lot of carbon dioxide, and we call these being a carbon sink because there's storage for carbon. Now, the next one is the nitrogen cycle, and the main thing to understand with the nitrogen cycle is that we have to have these nitrogen-fixing bacteria because nitrogen in the air is not available to plants and animals. So they take that nitrogen and convert it into a form that plants can use. Then animals can eat the plants, and other animals can eat those animals, and they can get the nitrogen that way. Then there's other bacteria that put the nitrogen back into the air. So in this case, nitrogen in the air is N2. And again, plants and animals cannot use that directly. These bacteria have to transform it first. Then plants can take that out of the soil, and then that can enter the food chain in that way. Decomposers put it back into the soil for other plants, and then bacteria release it back into the air. Finally, we have the phosphorus cycle, and in this, phosphorus is generally found in rocks, and it can be released into the soil through weathering and erosion, and then plants can take it out of the soil, and that's how it enters the food chain. So we have rocks in the soil, plants take it out of the soil from those rocks, animals take it from the plants, decomposers put it back into the soil. Key point here, there is no atmospheric part of this because there's no phosphorus gas. So this all stays within organisms and the soil.